Hey you guys, I'm Phil Town from Rule 1 Investing, and what I want to talk to you guys today about is easy things, like really good easy things that you can do to save money to invest. In some cases, with research and patience, you can start investing with $1,000 or less. You got to take a little knowledge here, but what matters is that you buy a company when it's on sale, and that means about 50% below what that thing is worth. We call that the margin of safety, right? And you do that, then it's hard to lose on it. And the big question is, how do you get there when you're starting with nothing, right? Great question. So here are 4 easy things that anybody can do to start saving for investments. Number 1, pay yourself first. Now this comes from a really cool old book called The Richest Man in Babylon. I think it's might be The Richest Man in Baghdad, I'm not sure. But it goes back, clear back to the 1920s. And the idea is that the first dollars that you receive, the money that's coming into you, you pay yourself first. Now it can be really easy to prioritize everything else above yourself, right? You got bills you gotta pay, you got all this stuff you gotta spend money on, but if you look at your income and your spending habits and you put yourself first and then live on what's left, oh man, that can make a huge difference. One of the really good things I had going for me when I started with $1,000 was that I knew how to live on nothing. I was living on basically on $4,000 a year. So I'd really tightened myself down. And that's what you can do too. Just set the belt tight to the money that you have left after you pay yourself first. And what I would recommend is you set aside a really specific amount from your paycheck into a savings account or an IRA. I'd love to set it up in something that you can't actually get your hands on it. That would be really good. But you can set this up so that it has automatic withdrawals from your bank to most of these accounts. And then when your paycheck goes in there, bam, out it comes. And this will ensure that you have a certain amount set aside every month. You won't even have to think about it. Now, how much should that be? Well, back in the early 1920s, 100 years ago, they were recommending 10% of your revenue income. And I think that's a really good number. So go for that. All right, number 2, record your expenses, because you got to figure out where the money goes. And it's just really difficult to do when you're out there. It's a little here, a little there, and pretty soon it's gone. You can cut some of these expenses if they're not necessary. A really good friend of mine has written a lot of books about, how do you control your expenses. There's a lot of good books out there. Susie Orman writes them. David Bach writes them. He talks about, the latte factor. Don't spend $5 on a latte, that kind of thing. But the thing is, you start first with just getting a record of what you're spending. I know it's a hard thing. I know it's a pain in the butt. Most of you don't want to do it. But if you'll just do it for a month, you'll find out where that money's going. And you're going to be surprised at how much money gets wasted. Number 3, plan your short-term and long-term goals, all right? Now, here's the thing. You're gonna plan your goals and you're gonna make a budget to kind of get to that goal. But I don't love the idea of goals. I'm starting off saying the word goals, okay? But I don't love the idea of goals. Goals are sort of weak. Goals are kind of intentions that you're gonna do this stuff. I would much rather you make this a promise to yourself that you're gonna do it. I am absolutely going to achieve this level of budgeting, and then you do that because it's a promise. Now, plan how much you want to save every single week, every month, all the way through the year. Know exactly how much you're going to save. What does that look like that's coming in, and put it away. And better yet, I want you to have ideas on what you'd like to invest it in, because when you start to think about what I'm going to put the money into, you start to have a watch list of companies, start researching the business. It's never too late to get that kind of a head start. And you get that watch list, that's going to drive you to save money so you can afford, you got something there to invest with when those companies go on sale. And by the way, I'll tell you right now, you guys are just starting this out. You're a little bit like me starting out in 1980. I think we're really similar kind of potential right here, where the market's gonna crash. It crashed almost immediately when I started investing, and then everything went up. And I think we're gonna see something like that coming up. So get your watch list put together. So that drives you toward this goal of saving money. Take 10% of your capital and put it out there so that you got something to invest, all right? Number 4, check your progress every single month and just keep pushing yourself to achieve this promise that you're making to yourself to change your life. You check your progress on a regular basis, and it's enormous as a motivator. I'm telling you, when you see how much you're saving, you're gonna get really excited, especially if you do a little extra math here. I want you to think about compounding money at 26% a year. Let's just play this game of what would happen if you could compound money at 26%, because it's incredibly motivating if you're saving a little chunk of money every month, and then you see what that can become over 20 or 30 years if you could achieve Warren Buffett type investment returns. Now, I know that's a real stretch, right? You know, Warren Buffett and all that. But listen, Warren Buffett said today that if he was only investing $1 million, he'd be making 50% a year. You don't need to be making 50% a year to get really rich. You could do half of that. So let's say you're half as smart as Buffett. So you get half of the return, right? He's making 50%, you're going for 25. I'm just kidding. 25% is an enormous rate of return. But if you put that as a target, every 3 years, you'll double your money. So you think, geez, I've only got $1,000 here, but I'm putting in $1,000 every so long, every 3 or 4 months, building up that $1,000. Maybe I'm getting $5,000 a year into this investment account. My gosh, if you add $5,000 a year in compounding money at 25%, you're going to get rich, my friend, and you're going to get rich a lot faster than you think you will. Not only that, but the riches will continue to build in almost a hockey stick kind of a curve as you continue to invest that money, continue to send it back into new investments. So you keep all these good lists, keep these good ideas, keep this going fast, and you're going to identify problems when you're not saving as much as you'd like. And I'm telling you, if you follow these steps and just have a couple of $1,000s to start with, you're going to be making serious investing money in no time. You're going to be amazed in 5 years where you're going to be compared to where you'd be otherwise. Now, I would love to hear from you guys about this. This is a huge area, big problem. So what's your biggest challenge when it comes to saving money? I'd like to see what you're commenting on. So leave a comment below, put your answer in there, and I'll be sure to follow up with you, okay? So thanks for watching, and now go play. Now, if you enjoyed the video and you think it was kind of valuable for teaching you more about investing and about getting started to investing, subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends, you guys, or anybody else that might benefit from this information so we can start to spread this revolution.